can go whenever you want.
A second here. Damn it.
We got to talk about Patrick Stewart's poop.
No, we don't.
Did
That's
something,
not.
something break or what's up?
It's not worth talking about on this. He's voicing the poo emoji. Who cares? That movie sucks, and those movies always get big
It
stars.
certainly is top news.
All right, starting the actual podcast in 3, 2. Hey, everybody. It's the Terrible Opinions cast. I'm your host, Gabriel Coleman. Joining me this week, Abby Elrod,
Film is dead.
David Ho,
Vine is dead.
and the brothers Loftus, Andrew,
I have no witty catchphrase.
and Grant.
Poo emoji.
Andy. You guys went backwards there, but okay.
Where's one? Where's one? The Loft Eye.
Yeah, this is the Loft Eye hive mind.
Absolutely.
Anyway, this is our third week of awards, but we're gonna start out with a little bit of news because we only have 2 categories tonight, and there was some big news. Nintendo Switch coming out. It's coming
Excited.
out.
It looks
Coming out in March.
fucking cool.
March.
Yeah, coming
3rd.
out like in a month and a half, basically.
And if you don't have one pre-ordered, you ain't getting one anytime soon. I would say, right?
It's the rumor is there's 2 million worldwide at launch.
And one game coming out with it.
Oh, there's
That's
like 15, but there's one game
There's
worth
one game.
getting.
There's one game for the foreseeable future, and that's really the only thing I can say about it.
I
really want that game.
think 1-2 Switch looks really cool, but not $50 cool.
Yeah.
That game should have been a goddamn pack-in.
By the time most people can get a hold of it,
It probably will be a pack-in.
there'll be a bunch of new games by the time people can actually get their hands.
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
thing.
That sounds like they have stuff coming out all summer, and I bet their E3 is big
So,
this year.
Is Breath of the Wild releasing for the Wii U at the same time then?
Yes,
I thought I heard it's not.
I think
They
they're
switched it. I think they are now. Yeah.
They better, because
Maybe
then
I'll
people
hold
that really wanted to play Zelda aren't going to be butthurt. And you know what? I read a list. There's not that big a difference between the Switch version and the Wii
Yeah,
U.
it's like a little bit higher fidelity graphics.
Well, there shouldn't
That's
be.
kind
I
of-
mean, this game was supposed to come out on the Wii U. It should be, if anything, it should just be slightly up-resed for the Switch or something.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
it's up-res and has better sound. Those are basically the only.
Yeah, I think. Aside, I mean, the Mario game. Everybody's coming over it. It looks like another Mario game to me, in a crappy-looking city. Like that doesn't look very good.
What? That
There's
game looks
one-
awesome.
Yeah, the game looks great, and also only one tiny part of it is in that city. Like,
It
what
looks,
are you even
it looks
talking
like
about?
it looks like a major big ass Super Mario Galaxy, right?
Yeah, it's like they're saying it's like the new one of
For-
those,
for
which they haven't
everything
done
else-
one of those since
for
Mario
everything
Galaxy
that's
2.
For everything that looks cool about this thing, there's like 5 things that don't. Like, for instance, like the whole online service. It's like PlayStation Plus, except they totally fucked it up, where they're letting you like basically borrow a game for whatever month it's available, and then they take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all
awful.
just SNES and NES games, so who cares? Like, other
Then
than
they should definitely be
Splatoon,
free.
other than
Right,
Splatoon, name one fucking Nintendo game you're going to be playing online. Name
Exactly.
Oh,
the
that's not what
point,
I'm even
like-
talking about here.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about their free game of the month thing, which again.
one. Yeah,
I
but
don't
like, you're
care.
not going to get that anyway because you're not going to be paying for their online because there's no fucking online games. Like,
But,
Right, but okay,
yeah, you're
but
right.
see, I'll get Splatoon, and then I might want to play it online, and I'm not paying just to play Splatoon online. Like, I would pay online if it had, like, I'm assuming what PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live have, which is, like, a lot of good reasons to play online. If it's just Splatoon, it's like, why can't you just connect to the internet for free?
Yeah. Oh, and then
and
another
it's,
thing.
they're not going to give you those reasons, so there's no reason to do it.
And then there's another thing.
So it's like,
why...
oh, great. Well, Splatoon better have a good first single-player campaign.
Yeah, plus, like, it's not going to be paid until, like, the end of the year. So Splatoon, you will have, like, several months of playing that game for free when it comes out.
Here's another thing that doesn't make any sense. Well, 3 things about this. Skyrim is not a launch title. It's coming out in like way later, which okay.
They
whatever.
probably need time to optimize it.
It is not the remastered version.
Why are they even putting Skyrim out
It
anyways?
is $60.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy. It's not the remastered edition?
It is not the remaster version.
Why would I pay $60 for that?
Why would they release this period? I mean, part of me says
Wait a
it's on the
minute.
go.
Wait a minute. It's not.
I mean,
Yeah.
the remastered edition came out last year, so it makes
Right.
sense that they would put the remastered
This
edition
should
out for the
be-
Wii U. But like,
This should be on launch day or close to it, and it should be $40. I mean, if they're gonna charge me 60, it better be the remaster version. That's all I'm saying.
yeah,
It
it
makes-
better be remastered and it better be like $40 because it is an old game, even if it is remastered.
I don't know. I mean, I heard that on some podcasts.
2008.
I just
It's almost 10 years old.
I just don't get it. And then on top of all these games that are like super expensive, I'm starting to think that this thing is already dead on arrival. The Switch.
No, it's definitely not.
No, it's gonna sell a lot at the beginning, but I don't.
It's going to sell out at the beginning by the sounds of it. 2 million consoles.
Well, then, but nobody's gonna buy it when they're not gonna release any games for it because it's already gonna be that way. I mean, there's already like I'll admit that there's 2 games I'm very interested in, which is Zelda and Xenoblade. Like that was a
Those are
huge
2
thing.
very big games, and I know a lot of people who are going to buy it just for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might. I mean, I could just buy the Wii U version of Zelda. Like, I didn't buy the Wii U until what? I guess Smash Brothers might have been a launch title for that, but I don't fucking remember. But like,
It wasn't.
okay, but you know, it's like I'll buy it when there's a Smash Brothers, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
price
I
isn't too
still got-
bad. I guess I want one. I want one just because the idea of playing a game like that Zelda game with how good it looks on the go does sound
Yeah,
really,
that's
really
that's
cool.
the thing that got me is like I can play it at home if I want. I can play it on the go if I want. Like, who?
Yeah, all
like,
those airplane rides you're on.
Well, like I have downtime at work, so and that's why the battery life doesn't fucking matter to me anyway, because I'll just plug it in because it's just USB-C. So
And I suppose you just have a lot of stretches where you're sitting waiting in a parking lot or something, huh?
yep, it happens.
Yeah, it being it's micro is USB-C like micro USB like the one that
Yeah, it's the same thing your phone uses.
yeah. Well, I have an iPhone, so
Well, it's the same thing Andy's phone uses.
Yeah. And those charge really fucking fast.
Yeah, it's quick charging and you
Yeah.
can run it off power.
I have so.
Oh,
many
it's
cables around my
ridiculous.
house,
It's
so-
it's ridiculous how fast stuff charges with USB-C. So that's good that they did that.
and most planes have. Like,
Yeah, I got one pre-ordered the night of, and they're saying it'll be there the day of. Like, I got it before the site was even like completely up on Best Buy for in-store pickup.
I stopped
So it
myself
looks like I'll be
because
getting one.
There's like other big releases coming out, like Horizon Zero Dawn comes out like the week before. So I'm not.
Yeah,
I feel
which
like
I'll also get. But like again, like it's a portable thing. So like I can play Horizon while I'm at home, and I'll just take that fucking thing to work with me.
You take a dump while you play Zelda.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's like the 3DS, but good.
Well,
Hey, you've been spending a lot of time on your 3DS
That's
lately.
true for reasons. Anyway,
Hopefully they do a Mario Party game, and I want them to get like
no,
back
they should
Cool.
never do another Mario
Old-
Party game
old
ever
school.
again.
old school Mario Party.
Oh,
No, they're
you know
bad.
things
They
that
are all
tore apart
bad.
Friendships and families.
Have you
should
watched
do-
any of those giant bomb videos of them playing Mario Party? And it's just like the shittiest fucking games imaginable, and they're all miserable. Like, those games are bad games. Dan Reichert is wrong.
No, Mario Party's
you
fucking
should,
off.
No, they're bad.
No, you're wrong. They're great. They're fun.
They are. When was the last time you played one?
Like last week.
N64.
Because I installed them for the emulator stuff.
How long did you play them?
Me and my wife played a game of it. Like
Ugh,
not very many.
You're insane. You're a crazy person. Let's move on to the award categories.
They should do one called Mario After Party.
Yes, they should. Where it's just like Mario getting drunk at a club. That's actually gonna be in Super Mario Odyssey. That's part of the new Donk City
see,
level.
Yeah,
That-
just
we
hanging
should
out
link-
on a roof.
We should link that video, that Super Mario Odyssey video, where someone put the Super Mario Odyssey
Oh, yeah.
music over that
GTA
Mario and
Yeah.
GTA. People are chasing. Hey, get the fuck back here!
By the way,
That was
speaking of new Donk City, if you go to new.donk.city, it takes you to Vice's gaming site Waypoint now.
That's awesome.
They registered that. Yeah.
It would
All right.
work.
All right. Let's start with best trailer here. That's our new award for this year. And here's the requirements for this trailer to be considered. It has to be a theatrical release, but it can be domestic or international. The trailer had to come out in 2016, but the movie, game, or show could have either been released last year or could still be on its way. So, let's run down the nominations real quick here. Logan, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End story trailer, Watch Dogs 2, Forza Horizon 3 E3 trailer, Dark Souls 3 VHS trailer, Death Stranding E3 trailer, Death Stranding Game Awards trailer, The Fate of the Furious, Kong Skull Island, Wonder Woman, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, and The Cure for Wellness.
Too many.
No, that's a okay number to have nominated here. Cure for Wellness. I think this trailer is bad. I think I'm in the minority here, but because the first time I saw it, I was with my parents and girlfriend seeing Assassin's Creed, and they all thought it looked good. I was like, you people are all crazy, and Grant likes it, I guess.
I just like the choice of music and some of the imagery. I honestly probably think this movie's probably not going to be good. I think it's got that. I just there's a couple images in it, and when the music is kind of pulsing and kind of building up at the end, where you see the hospital or whatever, it's on fire. It just looks really cool, and it goes real well. I don't think it's going to hang on this list. I mean, we could probably cut it right away. I just thought it was a cool trailer.
I agree. It does look cool. The thing I don't like about it is it's not clear what the fuck is going on. There's a different trailer where it sort of establishes it's like Shutter Island, where Dane DeHaan is
that's
I'm going to go to this place.
That's a good
that
comparison.
People can't seem to come back from, and then it's like you can't leave this place, and he's like, shit. So,
okay.
yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, David. Which of the two Wonder Woman trailers are you talking about here? You have this one nominated. First one.
This is the one. Yeah, this I think is the Comic-Con trailer. It's the one where it starts with Chris Pine is washed up and it's like, you're a man, don't I look like one? And then it starts and goes.
I didn't even know there was two trailers.
Yeah, the second one is also good.
Yeah, this is I think the first one. It's really a good fucking trailer. It's it matches the DC aesthetic from Man of Steel and I guess mainly just Man of Steel, and it's got a lot of cool action in it. It's well cut together. DC's movies have really great trailers.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to see this.
And it's every time I see it, I'm like, that's a great trailer, but if the movie sucks, I'm not trusting any good trailers from them anymore. Because Man of Steel has one of the greatest trailers, and I don't remember Batman v Superman, but Suicide Squad.
The last Batman versus Superman one was pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to see it really bad. And I
love
I remember.
the line, the capes are coming.
Did you guys not like Batman vs Superman?
I liked it a lot.
Okay, I liked it. I liked it. So
I haven't seen the
especially the Ultimate Edition. The Ultimate Edition fixes all the problems with the actual movie.
It's too long.
I thought it was a good trailer.
Nah, it's fine. It flows well.
Who's directing this movie again? Is it somebody unknown?
Some chick.
Patty Smith, I think.
Women can't direct
Patty
movies.
Smith?
Yeah.
Patty Smith, the singer-songwriter?
No,
she should just
it's Patty,
stay in
it's
the
either
costume department and sew dresses. And
Patty
makeup.
Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins.
Patty
I knew it
Jenkins.
was a Patty. Haha. Yeah.
I think that should be a major factor here is would you see this movie absolutely after seeing that trailer?
Yes.
Regardless of if you hear bad reviews, I would say this movie I would go see it after that trailer, definitely.
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, it's she directed Monster with Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci.
I just saw that movie for the first time last week. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I want it to be good so bad. It needs to be good.
Yeah, if it really does. And it needs to be not just me thinking it's good. It has to be popular with other people, otherwise DC is just fucked, I think.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real good trailer. We're gonna leave it on the list for the moment. Okay, let's talk about this. Death Stranding. One of these trailers is making it on this fucking list.
Yes,
I don't know if it wins or not, but one of these is gonna win. Which one? It's gonna be on
the second
The
one,
first-
the
well,
one with Mads.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the first trailer is more memorable with the weird baby thing. And
They're really both.
Yeah.
They're really both the same trailer though. They're just
Yeah,
basically two
That's true.
different
they're just
They are
angles.
connected.
I think here's what we do with this. We make it a slash thing. because the two trailers are connected with like the baby disappearing in one and appearing in
Yep.
the other. I
Yep.
think they work as one unit. Weirdly.
I go with that.
I'm down for that. I'm down for calling it that.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm going to combine
It's-
them into
It's
one
the only
entry.
thing I would have thought of to nominate, but I saw someone already nominated it, so
Yeah.
this has my backing.
Okay, so yeah, both of these trailers are really fucking cool. Also, we'll have links to all of these in the description. So if you haven't seen these, they're in there. I suggest you watch all of them. Yeah, that first one though is like it had the hype around it, I think, and that's why it was a little bit more memorable. I think the second one is maybe a slightly better trailer though.
Gives
Just
you a
because
little
it
idea of the
shows
game.
more of the world, and then you get like the reveal of our villain with Mads. And
The first trailer made me more like, what the fuck? Like, it's Kojima being Kojima, and he knows that like you're completely intrigued, like you're on the hook. Like I could have done anything, but
also,
it
that
was
song
crazy
in the
ass.
first one
Yeah,
is great. Like "I'll Keep Coming" by Low Roar.
he knows that.
I
he's
just
got-
want to see what this game is. I just
I'm
wanna know.
gonna call it right now. It's going to be a open world stealth action game.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
not too
do
not,
it.
not too terribly far from something like MGS5, but probably a
Yeah,
little more weird.
It's going to be MGS5 on the horizon thing, but with like weird shit going on. And maybe the entire game, like the trailers have been, will be about like him being fired from Konami in some weird way.
What if Konami is just the villain?
Yeah. Mads Mikkelsen's character's name is
Konami Man.
Konami.
K-Man.
He's Colonel Nami. Colonel Nami.
Yes.
Yeah. David, Kong, Skull Island.
Yeah, this is a trailer. Holy
This
shit.
one wins. This is the one that wins.
God, I was gonna say we should cut this
Oh, I
because,
love
like,
this.
I don't think this is a very good trailer.
I love this trailer.
I have something ready to go for this. I just want to say this real quick. I did not care about King Kong at all after the Peter Jackson movie. That movie sucked big time.
Mhm.
It just made me totally not care. In this trailer, I went from not giving a shit about anything
Well,
King
this
Kong
is-
ever again.
This is
Okay,
like
like-
Godzilla. Now.
Well, whatever. But whatever. The second you see this trailer, if you don't like want to see this movie right now, you're crazy.
To me, this movie, like, wanting to see this movie has nothing to do with King Kong, though. It's about John C. Reilly. He's the trailer. He's the best part of this trailer. He's so funny in it.
He's not even in it.
He is.
This is
But the
this is
point
first
of the
one.
award, the point of the award is a trailer that makes you immediately want to see the
Is this
film.
not
Like, that's-
the? Is this not the first full trailer? I just assumed that was one you were linking.
No, this is not the one with John C. Riley where you like see him and stuff with his jacket. This is the first one
I
where
haven't
it
even seen this one.
builds up to showing you basically builds up to Kong's face, and it's but yeah, it really sets mood, it sets tone, it shows the cast, and it just it builds and builds hype and excitement. It's more of a pulsating. It's a build up, whereas the John C. Riley one I think has a little more of like kind of goes in. I think it goes into different tonal directions. This one starts with here's this thing, here's this island.
I didn't realize
something
you
bad
posted
happens,
the
and then
Comic-Con
it
one.
builds
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I think the one with John Riley. That I mean, he does make that trailer, and that's why I want to see this movie. But it
yeah,
also,
I haven't watched that trailer, so
and it's
like
yeah,
I've only
Probably
watched the
not.
one he nominated.
I didn't realize he had posted the comic.
Because I didn't like the Comic-Con one, so I didn't care about the new one, so I didn't watch it.
Oh yes, like the best part of the one that I thought this was is he says something like there's these things that come out at night or whatever. They're called skull crawlers, and he's like, well, now that I've said that, it sounds stupid. You call them
Oh
whatever.
wait,
you...
yes, I did see that one. I didn't think that one was great either.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, I like that trailer too, but this one I think, I mean, just because I'm not saying that comedy is bad, but I like this one more because it really pumps you up in terms of, oh shit, this is a huge monster movie.
Sure.
The comedy kind of undercuts that or like changes tone. This one has one tone.
I just like the way the movie looks too. The way they're shooting it,
Yeah.
that look.
That-
They're going
Well,
for.
That's
out
not
of
like-
these two trailers, which one would be on this list if it stayed on?
I'd say this one because this is the one I think of. I mean, this has this. It's constructed really well. It's got really good structure in that it's like here's this island, then bam, inciting incident, the helicopter getting hit by the tree, and then it
have
builds
to
and builds
say,
and
yeah,
builds and builds. And you get
either
closer to
one.
Kong throughout the trailer.
Either one, because it made me go from like I don't care about King Kong at all, and never want to see a King Kong movie again, to all right, I'm gonna see this opening day probably.
All right,
So-
we'll leave it on for now then, and we'll call it that first one. Grant, Dark Souls 3 VHS trailer.
Another one that I don't think is going to win, but it's just a really fun trailer. It's kind of a throwback to like an 80s trailer, like a horror movie trailer, where the guy's got the deep voice, they killed his brother type thing, you know? And it's just a really fun trailer, and it's got that film grain look. It's just a
Yeah,
fun thing
I
to do.
like this one a lot, but I don't think it hangs.
I just watched it again, and it's a lot better than I remembered it being, but it's
It's
not
real
gonna
good.
hang. It's a neat trailer, and it's
inventive.
Yeah,
In
it's very
terms of what video game trailers do, it's inventive and original, and it's going for like a totally different style than what the game actually is, but it's like having fun with it, you know.
yeah.
And-
I mean,
but it still
fits.
tells you like what is up in the game, you know. But it's doing it in like a fun, offbeat way.
Yeah,
So I think it's like,
it's really cool.
yeah.
All right. Speaking of stuff that I think is really cool, but I don't know if hangs on this list, Watch Dogs 2.
Mhm.
This is specifically the one with that Run the Jewel song,
Yeah.
where it's
Great
like,
trailer.
yeah,
It's
it's like the one take showing like all the different Marcuses
Yep.
doing all the different stuff in the game. One
Yeah,
of the
that's-
reasons I like this trailer a lot is because like everything in that trailer is in the actual game. Like you can do all that shit. And like
Mhm.
even just like putting that fucking song on with Spotify because it's a different Run the Jewel song in the game, and like just running around, like it feels like that trailer. But I think there's some pretty stiff competition here. I don't think it's gonna.
I got it. I
Yeah.
gotta take my hats off to Watch Dogs though, for they had marketing that matched the product.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
think Watch Dogs 2 is going to come up in a later category. So,
Yeah, that trailer
Yeah.
is super fucking cool. It pumps you up. It gets you really excited for the game. And yeah, I really like it. It's fun. It's stylish. You can't be disappointed watching it. And yeah, I think it is going to be cut just because of the competition.
yeah.
And not
Speaking of
because-
things that could also be described in that exact way, Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage.
Mhm.
That trailer did the impossible, like making me excited for a goddamn Triple X movie in 2017, like just period, and also in 2017. Like it seems like they've just sort of like figured out that the Fast and Furious formula of like, hey, let's have Vin Diesel
do the same
leading
thing
this
with this.
weird, you're leading this weird family of different types of people, but also here's some weird extreme sports stuff, which is what Triple X was like based on.
See, I never watched the first one.
I've only seen
And
the first
I-
one, and it's really
I,
bad.
I ended up
Apparently-
seeing
Yep.
the second one by accident. It was just somebody else
The
had on.
opening scene of the
Gotcha.
first one is fantastic. Where it's
apparently
just,
it was
like,
trying to
stuff-
be like American James Bond.
Yeah,
for the new
basically the first
century.
one opens with a scene of like a stuffy British James Bond type getting brutally murdered at a Rammstein concert. Which is a pretty great scene, but the rest of it doesn't really hold up. I'm like actually looking forward to this one, but I don't think this trailer hangs on the list also because of the competition. Although he
Mhm.
does fucking ride that motorcycle underwater and on the water and then ski through the jungle.
This movie
Yeah,
could be
those two things.
this movie could be classified as like guys doing extreme sports where he shouldn't be. Like, you're not supposed to be here, man, doing that crap. Get your hooliganness out of here. That's what
Except
that
he's
is.
doing it for the
Yeah, he's working for the
World.
governor.
That's the best
He's
way that
doing
I could complete this
extreme
mission.
jungle skiing and skateboarding.
on a
for the
skateboard.
CIA or whatever.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
Vin Diesel kind of wills things into existence, and he's kind of a magical person. And this
Yeah.
it's amazing that this trailer is so cool and it has us all looking forward to this because, like, you know, I was just, you know, from I haven't seen the first two, but I just aesthetically was like, you know, when they were coming out or whatever, it's like these don't look anything like what I'd like. But you know.
I'm waiting for him
magic.
for Vin Diesel to will into existence sequels to like other less remembered movies that weren't franchises. I want to see a Man Apart 2 or like Pacifier 2. Just like other weird shit he was in
Or
that
have
nobody
a-
actually remembers.
Have a prequel to his character that dies in Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, Saving Private Ryan 0.
A Man Apart Part 2.
A Man Up Part 2. A Man
Man-
A
a
colon
Man-
Part 2.
No, it's
A Man
a man
Apart
together. A man
Two.
together, and it's about the part where nothing bad happens.
Yeah, it's him rebuilding his life after all the stuff that happens in that movie.
It's a self-affirming, like, kind of, everything must go, or demolition kind of thing, where, he discovers
Doesn't his whole
himself.
family get murdered in a man?
Yes, that's a revenge movie. That's basically a Punisher movie.
I like that demolition movie you just mentioned. By the way, that movie is actually pretty good.
Yeah, the Jake Gyllenhaal thing.
Yeah, I didn't mind
I
that
remembered.
movie. I thought it was gonna be fucking terrible, and just kind of put it on, and just kept watching it. It was pretty good.
I haven't
But-
seen it, but I remember. I was trying to, I was hoping that I remembered the name properly. But yeah, that
Yeah.
would be That's what that sequel would be. A Man Apart to Panama.
Together.
Right. Speaking of Vin Diesel, while we're on that topic, that
A
Fate
Man
of the
Apart
Furious trailer.
Together. A Man Apart Together. There. Okay. Yeah.
Vin Diesel is evil in the Fate of the Furious. He's gone rogue. Dom,
Yeah.
you betrayed the family.
Yeah.
And
so
like,
it's
you're making out with like Charlize Theron is kissing him, and he just looks like angry, and it's so good. It's such a good trailer.
and they have
They
to
got a
come up with
tank,
a
but
bad
then there's
guy.
a submarine.
Didn't Michelle
have to,
Rodriguez's character do this too? Like they did
Yeah,
something similar.
she had amnesia. It looks like Dom's like either working undercover or is just evil now.
It's so okay. So yeah, it's like okay. The next Fast and Furious movie's coming. We get the little 2-second teasers for it. We're like, oh, this looks cool. Oh, Cuba. Oh, Iceland, or Greenland, or whatever. And then the trailer comes out, and we're like, okay, what's it gonna be this time? And then it's like Dom is evil. What the fuck? Like
He's
it's
probably not actually evil.
The twist.
Yeah,
is-
he's probably working deep cover.
Right. But the twist in that trailer has got everybody so excited because it's like, holy shit, that's a crazy new angle for it. And
So
we get to
here's
work
the
with
thing I've-
Jason Statham.
Yeah, here's the thing. Jason Statham is now having to work with them after killing Han. So here's another thing about this. You know the whole theory about how these movies are basically a Dungeons and Dragons campaign at this point? Somebody brought up on the Something Awful thread that it makes sense that, like, a common thing in Dungeons and Dragons games is, like, when your characters get to later levels, one of them will get corruption and turn evil for a while. So, like, that's totally what's happening here in this
Isn't Vin
movie.
Diesel a Dungeons and Dragons fan? I want to say
Yes,
that's a thing. Yeah.
Yes, he got fucking what's her face M from James Bond, Judi Dench on the set of Chronicles of Riddick. He got Judi Dench to play Dungeons and Dragons with him. Like
Yeah,
they
Riddick
played
is-
together through that
Riddick
whole
is,
movie shoot.
Riddick's a role-playing character anyway, right?
Do you think they?
Yes,
do you think
Riddick is literally based on one of his D&D characters.
Do you think they end this whole series like when they're really done doing these movies for real? The last shot before credits is it cuts to them all playing D&D.
They should. They either have to do that, or the way it ends is Dom getting sent. Like everybody else, like dies or something, and the world ends, and Dom goes into space and changes his name to Riddick.
And then
That's
but then
how
it cuts,
ended.
and then it cuts to the D&D game they've been playing this whole time.
No, then the last
No.
Riddick movie ends with that.
It cuts to a. It cuts to a. It cuts to a either the Fast and Furious or the Riddick movies end with cutting to a group of multicultural like 10-year-olds playing D&D in the basement.
Yeah, they all kind of look like the people they were in the movie.
Yeah, like you got one in like a black tank top or whatever.
Actually, it cuts to season 2 of Stranger Things.
Yes, it's just them. Okay, moving on. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End story trailer. Grant.
Good one. I like it.
This is my favorite trailer of the year, hands down.
I thought you said Forza was going to win earlier.
Well, it's between these two for me because I've probably watched this one like I don't know, like 20 times. And,
Let's talk about that Forza one real quick then,
okay.
because I think it's a good trailer, but it's kind of too long for what that game is and what it shows. Like
It's
it's
like
2 minutes
2
of
minutes
just
long.
cars driving.
Yeah, but it's really pretty, and it's got like a. I think the song works really well, and it does a good job of like showcasing some of the areas you're going to go to.
I
All
love
right,
Forza Horizon
let me
3.
say this,
I
dude.
love that game, but I don't think that trailer is going to make it on this list.
Let me say this, dude. I mean, if we're talking about trailers here, which are the whole sole meaning of them is to inform you and get you to be hyped for something, I could give two fucking shits about car games. Never bought a Forza game before. Never planned on it. I heard, positive buzz about a game. Like, oh well, I'm sure people who like car games like this game. I'm not gonna like it. This trailer like hooked me, and then I just bought it, and then I liked it, and that should say something about the trailer. I don't know, but
I think it does, but again, I think the other competition on this list
Yeah,
is.
I would fight. I'd fight more. For
I think I
Uncharted.
know what the three of this are, and I don't think it's. I don't think that's one of the three.
Yeah, well, I agree. I'll drop it, but I think Uncharted is so good. I think this trailer
Yeah,
is so good.
yeah.
I
I
especially
was always
love.
gonna buy that game.
I think the Uncharted trailer makes this list.
There's a certain part in this trailer that just gives me chills every time, and it's the point where it's like right around the middle where it shows them when they're younger on the bike and when they're older. Just the music at that part, and it's so good. I love this trailer, and it really gives you like a feeling like this is the last game, like this is the most important game in the series, like this is it, this is the big game, and everything about this trailer is perfect, and I think
It's one of the things that got me excited for an Uncharted game after I really disliked 3.
Yeah. But I think it hangs on this list. I mean, I'm sure you guys are gonna make arguments that it's not the winner. I'm happy that it makes the list at least.
I like it.
All right, and then the last one we have up here is Logan. This trailer is fucking incredible. Like the Johnny
trailer
Cash
is.
song is great. Everything they show is great. The cinematography in this looks great. Like they have done what you do when you adapt Mark Millar stories to movies, it appears, which is take the concept, which is good, and strip out all the retarded shit that he puts in, like the Hulk fucking his cousin and having like evil inbred kids. And also
Hulkland?
like
What's it
yeah.
called? Is it called Hulkland?
Hulkland. And like fucking X-23 is gonna be in this movie. Like everything about this trailer has me super hype. Like-
Yeah, this trailer. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, that looks even better than the last time I saw it. Like I have to see it.
Yeah, when I
Yeah,
finally saw it in the theater, it was fucking incredible.
It sets an original, like for the X movies anyway. It's this completely different tone. It's like its own. It's like a non-canon
It
spin-off.
looks
or
like The
something.
Last of Us is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's it makes me think like, oh, they should do a Last of Us movie, and they should cast
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman as the main character. I mean,
Yeah,
I
Hugh
could see
Jackman
that,
would
yeah.
play Joel perfectly.
and
He's at the
it's-
right age too. He's at the
Yeah,
exact
so-
age.
I think the three for this are Logan, Uncharted 4, and Death Stranding. Like, I think Fate of the Furious and Wonder Woman are both great. I don't understand how you like Skull Island, but even so, I don't think those three hang with these other three.
Yeah, I can go with that.
I'm
I'd
fine
go
with
with
that.
that.
I love that skull. Not the one that David linked per se. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to watch. I've seen it before. I just don't remember. I just assumed it was the new one, so I didn't watch it. But yeah, I mean, of these, like the Death Stranding one, that trailer is just so weird and so Kojima. You gotta put it on here.
Yeah, and unlike Cure for Wellness, which is super mysterious and vague or whatever, the Death Stranding one's like you get a clear sense.
Do you though?
Partly because
Yeah.
well, okay, I think part of it is
I have
that
no
it
idea what that game is about. Do you guys
Right.
know what that game is about?
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
it's a
but
weird fucking fish things have taken over, and they're weird cyber fish aliens.
There's a
And
baby.
well,
They,
okay.
it's like what's that movie? What's that movie where like Children of Men, where like there aren't babies around, so like fucking Norman Reedus has his fucking baby, and they take his fucking baby, and now he's got to kill these floating fishmen.
Yeah, that's
Well-
exactly like Children of Men.
I think
Yep.
what it is that both trailers have like one-shot scenes, whereas like Cure for Wellness cuts around a lot and really kind of plays with like you don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't know what's going on in Death Stranding trailers either, but the each are a scene that then like you get a sense of theme.
You get a
from-
sense of the characters and the theme. Yes, like
Yeah.
I was
you
gonna make
know
the
that Norman
argument-
Reedus is the fucking good guy from those. From like, oh, they took his baby and look at how fucking upset
Yeah.
he is. Like, you know, Mads Mikkelsen is the bad guy because he has he has an army of skeletons, and when he takes off his fucking night vision goggles, his entire helmet disappears, and he's
Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen, so of course he's evil. Like,
He's got like power cords, power cables connected to skeletons, and then that's
Yeah.
how so like that because I'm thinking about the title Death Stranding the whole time, and it's like, okay, there are all these strands and stuff. Oh, these are strands that are connected to skeleton soldiers.
Yeah,
Skeleton
Death
soldiers is
Strand-
kinda how
yeah.
you do it.
Death Stranding is what it's called when whales beach themselves.
Is it really?
As seen in the first trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've said that this game is like the main theme that he wants to convey is connection, or something like that is
Mhm.
one of the main things. So I don't know, like something to do with Norman Reedus being attached to another being, I guess. I don't know. Like there's really cool like imagery in that first trailer, even if it is like a concept trailer. You can see those like figures floating like way in the distance, like really ominously. It's really neat. I would make the argument that this trailer is awesome because I have no clue what it's about, but it will make sense eventually, and you can just bet that it's going to be, knowing Kojima, it's going to be a very complex and really interesting plot, and he does a really good job of just hooking you. Like, okay, we have to see what this is going to be about, even though it's not going to come out for like another 10 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I would say it's coming out sooner than you think because they've already got the engine. That's usually what eats all their
Yeah.
I'm
time
going to
up.
say 2019.
I'm gonna say 2018.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna say
That's optimistic.
The
and I think you
first
might be right,
announced
but-
date might be 2018, and then maybe they'll push it to 2019.
I bet the first announced date is summer 2018, and it gets pushed back to holiday.
I'm gonna say December or November 2017, and then it gets pushed to like March.
No
or
way
April.
it's coming out this year. That's a given. I think.
They would have
Man,
already
it
said
might.
so.
Like, it kind of might, because like
still-
they've already got. He already has his studio made because he just took all his people from Konami. They have an engine. Like, they've been doing the motion capture stuff. So depending on how big that studio is, and if Sony really is like here's what I think. I think Sony probably is like not only giving him money to make this, I think they're also probably giving him support from other studios. Like, I bet the guys who are working on Horizon have people who are also working on this game.
The argument can be made that he, with less people pushing back on him and saying like, you can't do that. Maybe it'll take longer because he's really like going all out, or the reverse of it. Maybe them not fighting him on everything. He'll just get to do what he wants to do and get it.
Yeah, he'll get the support that he needs to do it
I
all.
still don't believe
And
this
he's
game's coming out
motivated.
anytime soon. I think we're going to be hearing
Yeah.
about it for a long time, and it's not going to come
I
out
think
for
2018. I think this game's 2018.
late 2018. I'll give you that.
Yeah. What do we think wins this category?
Death.
Death?
Yeah,
I think it's
Mm.
Death Stranding or
most
it's
interesting.
Logan. Yeah.
I could go with either one.
I'm kind of leaning
I'm-
towards Logan.
I'm a little bit leaning more towards Death Stranding. Andy, what do you think?
Logan.
Logan?
Oh no.
But Death Stranding's definitely the first
Well,
runner
I'm
up.
probably the tiebreaker then, so I'm probably going to go with Death Stranding because that, I think
Yeah.
as far as trailers go, I mean, I love all these trailers. So
Yeah, all these trailers are great. Like, here's
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing that pushes me a little bit more towards Death Stranding is it's less of a known quality than Logan is. Like, we kind of know what Logan is. We know the actors. We know like the director who's doing it. He's done other stuff. Like, and you get a good sense of what that movie is going to be about, like on a plot level from that trailer. Although I really wish they would show us Mr. Sinister already.
For me, I love the fact
Uh,
that both the trailers for Death Stranding are great and memorable and intriguing, but the fact that they connect at the same time is super cool too.
it's-
And I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, that connection thing also helps put it over. I think we're gonna call this one Death Stranding.
Coolio.
All right, so best trailer, runners up: Logan, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Death Stranding. Both trailers. Now let's move on to the funnest kind of category in a way.
I like
Uh,
complaining.
This one is returning from last year. What the fuck happened? Going through the nominations, we have Street Fighter V launches in early access. Everything about the Arkham HD collection. Suicide Squad being more schizophrenic than Harley Quinn. No Man's Sky, or like One Man's Lie. Recore, Pokemon Go, and the Mummy trailer with no sound. Okay, Abby, why did you nominate Pokemon Go for this?
Because it was released broken and the developer was completely zero zilch silent for months and months on anything about the game. They are still actually bad, in my opinion, even though they finally hired some kind of public relations person to tweet some random Twitter things and type some things on their updates. The game is literally unplayable for at least a month after launch, and then it went to unstable, and you could kind of play it a little bit, but then during any kind of events or on weekends, and anytime they released it in new countries, it would keep crashing the servers again and again all over the world.
Yeah, like my guess is they somehow had no idea it was going to be as popular as it was.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, they still said
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Also,
And they never
it's-
gave, like, I don't know,
Yeah, it's like they weren't.
Here's
equipped
the problem.
to
What they should do
talk
is
to the
immediately
public.
they need to immediately take their boatloads of money and just get more servers as fast as you fucking possibly can.
Or
But they don't do it.
Re-release it. Have Nintendo actually like help them make it and
Well,
re-release
no,
it proper.
All they need to do is get more servers up, but they don't do this, and the reason why is because they know that it's just a temporary thing, and that they'll still get what they want and not spend more money on servers.
My biggest
Like that's
And
seriously
the
what
fact-
that's what it comes down to.
and the fact that the stuff they were advertising in the trailer and that they were saying was going to be in the game wasn't even in the game at launch. Some of it is
Mhm.
now, and they're saying they will put more of it in there, but still, for like
Yeah,
in the
deliberately
trailer.
lied about what
Yeah.
it was going to have when it released.
Yep.
yeah. Also,
Um,
it's a bad game. It's just a Pokemon themed reskin of their other shitty game.
It could have been good. My biggest problem with it, and that made me just quit it. I'm like, well, this idea is amazing. It's just the game itself, like it was really simple and boring, and like the UI was.
Why the fuck didn't they just
dull.
put in the combat from the real games?
I know. What?
Yeah, the combat was super shitty for a while, like, and it's super hard to fucking figure out because it's like tap-based combat.
I never killed anything when I was fighting anything
Yeah.
because they made it too.
Yeah,
crappy.
same.
It's like you can learn it, but it has nothing to do with like how
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 fun would
They've
it be if it was just a
improved
Pokemon?
the combat slightly, but the fact I don't like the
It
concept.
should just be lifted from the Game Boy game. It would be
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cool.
And the
Mhm.
stats that they give the Pokemon, granted they've done a little bit of adjustment now, but the initial stats that they gave the Pokemon, like why is Vaporeon still super, super overpowered and like in the top 5 most powerful Pokemon in the game? That shouldn't be the case. They
yeah, it's the
Vaporeon,
leveling system.
Flareon, and
is-
Jolteon have the same base stats in the games, but they don't
the
in here.
problems the problem with that is like the like combat power is like anywhere from 12 to like 2900, and it's weird that because like the games, it's like every Pokemon can be between level 1 and 100, and 100 is the limit, and so any Pokemon can be as strong as any other Pokemon, essentially, like not talking stats but just talking like level. And in this game it's like certain Pokemon can't get to like 1900 at max stats or whatever, like, or maxed out level like that's and then they changed it later, so like some Pokemon would be able to get higher leveled, but it's like weird because then there's like hardly any diversity in gyms where it's like the top spots are always Vaporeon, Dragonite,
And
Gyarados, Arcanine, and it's like that's bullshit. That's some it makes Vaporeon like super basic and noobish. But
Yep.
at the same time, it's the easiest water type to get. It is super powerful and it's fairly simple to obtain.
Yeah,
I
another
don't know,
thing I
there's
would
no
have to say
balance.
about this is, other than you two, I don't know anybody who's still playing this fucking game. Like,
I do. I know another.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, other than you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know people, and I like it enough that despite its flaws, I'm critical of it, but I do enjoy it, which is why I'm critical about it, because I want to see it improve. But yeah, it did definitely start out really whack, and the fact that they haven't it took them forever to.
The most popular app in existence was like the biggest failure I've ever seen. That's
It was
such a
just
crazy
it was
phenomenon.
handled so poorly, and like everything I've learned about how the game actually worked, because there's like a help button, but it just tells you like the basics. Everything about appearances of different types of Pokemon in different areas, or how gyms worked, or how like this and that worked. All of that was discovered by people breaking into the game and like looking at the code,
Yeah,
and then publishing that, or I just learn it from you, Abby, because
Yeah.
you would find out that stuff, and I'd learn stuff from you. And so basically we all had to learn this stuff from like testing and scientific experiments, and reading the code and shit, because they just did not release any information for the longest time. And they do have like a Facebook account now that does tell us some information.
some things, but it's like they're trying to almost trick us sometimes. Like they'll say something is happening and then yeah, maybe technically sort of that's what the event was, but it wasn't anything like they made it sound like it would be.
Hmm. Well, okay, yeah. When they had an event, the latest event was
The second
where
gen Pokemon.
they made the starters much more common. Like that was a huge thing, because the starters are, if you're when you start the game, you can choose to catch one of the three starter Pokemon around you. I went with Bulbasaur because I figured they're all going to be equally uncommon. Turns out Bulbasaur is pretty easy to come by. Squirtle as well. Charmander is a son of a bitch to try and find. So they made them much more common, putting them pretty much everywhere. And right before that too, or like actually overlapped, they had Pikachu show up everywhere with Santa hats on. But the thing is, they made them more common, but they did not make them easier to catch. Like they still had the very low catch rates. So you'd throw, they're rare. They're supposed to be rare normally. So they have a higher chance of running away from you, and they are harder to stay in the ball. So you'll go through more balls throwing at them, and that's fine. But if you make them more common, they should be easier to catch, and they weren't, which is super weird.
Well, for me, their announcement about it was always vaguely written too. So when the second gen Pokemon were coming, they announced, "Hey, guess what? On so and so date, we'll be releasing second gen Pokemon, some new second gen Pokemon." And everyone's like, "Yay, second gen is coming." Only it turns out you're gonna get like what is it, like 5 or 6 baby Pokemon that you can only hatch from eggs. And then no word on any other actual second gen Pokemon. All it is the baby Pokemon that are linked to the first generation, and that's
And
it.
not even Tyrogue, just
No,
Alakid, Magby, Smoochum, Pichu, Igglybuff, Cleffa,
yeah,
and maybe one other.
that's it.
Yeah.
They keep
So
Okay, so
getting
that game
people-
sounds like
yeah.
it's pretty shitty still.
Yeah.
it's slowly improving. I like it. It was definitely mishandled, because like the people making it did not believe they were making a game that would be very popular, and they
Right,
did not
They've
do
also
certain
screwed over
things.
Japan a lot too. They've
Yeah,
also
let's
screwed over
move
Japan.
on. This sounds real bad. So let's move on. Grant, Recore.
This one's not going to make it to the end of the list. I just want to acknowledge it. I didn't.
What
Yeah,
is
here,
it?
like what I've heard is that like the first 2/3 of that game are great, but then like it seems like they ran out of time and money, so the last whole area of the game is just empty, and there's places like you can't get to, and there's a slot for a 4th thing, but there's only 3 things.
Yeah, I've come close to buying it a few times because it's already pretty cheap. But yeah, the reason that I considered it a big disappointment is because it's the Metroid guys that made it. Metroid Prime guys, and I think that's a huge bummer. I was watching it and I'm like, well, that's cool. Like, that's a cool like exclusive for Xbox One. Like, that's the kind of thing they need. And then it kind of just came and went, and everybody said it's pretty disappointing. And it, yeah, like you were
Here's
saying,
the thing though. It's partly the Armature Studio guys, but it's half them and half Concept. Concept, who you may know as the fucking
Mega Man
fantastic
guys.
studio behind Mighty Number 9
Yep.
and a bunch of other fucking terrible games. So, like, this one, like, as soon as I heard they were involved, I was like, oh, no, this isn't
It's
gonna...
it's just a bummer. Like I was hoping that game would just be kind of a sleeper hit, and it sucks that like people are saying it's like not even worth playing.
It's just a sleeper. I'm looking it up on
Yeah.
Google right now. I'm like, oh, I've seen images from this game. Like, I recognize the robots and the girl with the gun and the construction helmet, but like, I don't remember hearing anything about it. I don't remember seeing anything about it.
Well, everybody
Yeah,
says
I'm
that
not-
the first like I don't know, half of the game is actually really good, and you get to a point in the game where it's like this huge open area and it's just empty. Like
Yeah, there's
it's
just
clear this
nothing
game
in
came
it.
out, like they just said like fuck it, we're out of time, out of money. Let's
It's like, I want to
to
say there's literally like an entrance to a dungeon that you can't get into.
yeah, well it's probably DLC or something. You
Yeah.
could
No,
argue
no,
that,
it's
but-
like they haven't announced any DLC for this.
yeah.
like-
Like I said, I came close to buying it because it's like $20 at this point. So
It seems like they just ran out of time and money, and like they had to ship what they had.
yeah, and yeah, like the only reason I think it should be it fits on this list is because it is the Metroid guys, and they're known for making very good games.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think any other year this would probably make the list, but like again, I know at
I didn't
least
play it,
one
so-
thing that's already making this. So two things that are already making this actually.
Yeah, we can cut this one. It's not going to be
All right.
number 3 because there's three like 4 things on here that I think have to be on this list. That's how
Yeah,
many fuck ups there have been this year.
yeah. Here's the thing I think gets cut: the Mummy trailer with no sound. It's a very much a like what the fuck, but it's also great. This is a great thing that happened this year.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's the Mummy trailer for the Mummy movie with Tom Cruise. It starts out, there's a little bit of music in certain places, but it doesn't have sound for like the first minute and a half.
Yeah, it's
And-
specifically it doesn't have any music in it. It's just sort of like the weird Foley stuff, like the scream and stuff like that, like sound
yeah, well,
effects.
like they're on an airplane and there's no airplane sound really.
Yeah.
So it's like you kind of think maybe it's like, oh, it's that quiet thing before.
Yeah,
the
I thought it was
storm
like a
happens.
stylistic thing at
But
first.
then
It's like
yeah,
that scream happens, that fucking
'cause that-
scream.
Because
It's
that
like,
what
wait,
that's
what?
it feels like. It feels like it's just quiet before the storm. Because then these bats come at the thing and they break in through
Yeah,
the
it's like,
glass of the
"Ugh."
plane. But then
Yeah.
when that happens, you just hear oh, and you're like, oh shit, there's no grah, there's no sound to it aside from these yells. And apparently this trailer is uploaded and it stayed up for a week before anyone noticed, or like
Yeah.
10 days or something. It stayed up for 10 days when they thought there was only enough for 1 day. But it's that means that it either what had to have happened was someone. Well, what people think had happened was muted tracks in the editing software.
Yeah,
you
they
mute the tracks
accidentally
that you-
muted the tracks when they exported it,
yeah,
or
you
they sent them the
exported it.
wrong version or something. Like,
Yeah, so you export it with tracks muted. You're doing something with like, just the scream tracks or whatever. So you mute the other tracks underneath it, make sure everything's worked. You forget to unmute the tracks. You export it. Then nobody watched it, or nobody looked past the first 3 seconds of it.
yeah,
And thought, or maybe.
funny part
10
is-
Isn't that
when
kind of
nobody
a
watched-
isn't
nobody
that kind of a
watched
bad
Florida.
omen for the movie that nobody
No.
caught it for a week?
No,
Well,
it's probably
nobody
whoever's in
wa-
no,
charge. of
because
it.
it's just the marketing department or whatever
Yeah.
studio they outsource this to,
I
not the
don't
movie
think
Yeah,
this.
so-
itself.
I don't
Like,
think
But
this
it's
movie
still,
looks
like-
terrible. I think it looks okay.
yeah, I don't think
No, I
this
mean,
hangs
no,
on
what-
this
what-
list
no,
either.
what I'm
It's like
saying-
it's really funny. Like,
What I'm saying is like the fact that it didn't get viral buzz for a whole week. Like nobody watched this.
well, it's
fucking-
only the version that went up on Fandango's page. So like, there
Yeah,
were
it's
other
IMAX.
versions of the trailers that were fine, but it was just like that one version of the
Nobody
trailer.
fucking
on the
I want
watched
to.
page.
it.
I want to say one
Thank
thing.
you.
I want to say one thing. This trailer is funny even when the sound is in it. Like the part where Tom Cruise screams. He has the same scream twice in a row. He's like before he falls out of the plane, and it sounds so dumb.
It's probably from a prepackaged CD of screams that are allowed to be used by Tom Cruise approved by
Yeah,
Like
Scientology.
I actually want to see this movie because I want to see how that sounds.
That's
That's actually a scream that L. Ron Hubbard recorded. It's It's only available to like the highest levels of
It's Tom
Scientology.
Cruise screaming, but it's almost like they just thought like, we'll just put it in twice. It's such a dumb sounding
Yeah.
scream.
Did any
and
of
they
you
just-
guys make that your cell phone ringtone or message ringtone?
No,
I know
but-
some people did.
yeah, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, it means that whoever was like proofing this before they uploaded it didn't watch more than like 15 seconds of it, and that's where you get tripped up sometimes. If you don't watch the whole thing, you might think, yeah, this is what this is, and then it's not.
Yeah, I think that gets cut though, because it's such a good thing. It doesn't fit the spirit of the list, which is like
It's just
bad
fun. It's just really
things.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth highlighting.
It's an
because
unfortunate thing that happened for them, where people should be like talking about, that movie looks interesting. Instead, they're talking about that trailer that they fucked up is really funny, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
all anybody's
I
talking
think that
about.
is honestly that's better for the movie than if it had not happened, because the trailer's like, yeah, maybe. It's
Yeah.
certainly not the most exciting movie that looks like it's
Well,
coming
for a
out.
franchise that was essentially completely dead or just going into like spin-off after
Yeah.
spin-off, it doesn't look terrible. It looks okay.
Yeah. The
Yeah, I
thing
think
that
that is
worries
pretty
me about it isn't being connected to their weird monster cinematic universe, but I guess we'll
Yeah,
see.
like, People think Tom Cruise might be like the.
I hope
Wolfman
Brendan
or
Fraser
something.
shows up in it and gets killed.
Yes. What if Brendan Fraser is the Nick Fury, where he shows up, he's like, "You think this is the only mummy out there?"
Well,
It's not looking too great
Rus-
nowadays.
Russell Crowe is apparently playing Dr. Jekyll in it.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right,
Ron
let's
Clippers.
move on here. This is another thing I think gets cut from this list, which is the Arkham HD collection. What happened with this, if you guys don't know, is they announced this HD collection. It's just it's the 3 games made by the studio that makes the
2.
good ones.
Two
Yeah,
games.
2. It's only the first 2. Oh yeah, because
And I think
Yeah,
that's
that
the
one's
worst
already
thing
out,
about
yeah.
it is that the third one isn't in there.
it doesn't have Arkham Knight, but it's got Asylum and City, both upres to HD, or so they said. So the screenshots of this, like the trailer, people started doing comparisons with like the old versions of the games, and in a lot of spots, the old one looks better. So at that point, they were like, "Okay, we're delaying this game. We're gonna fix it." And they went radio silent. Went radio silent. Then it just sort of quietly was released with no more hype about it, and they didn't do anything to fix it. It's still the exact same version they showed before. They were just trying to get away from the bad press cycle and sneak it out there. Like,
Oh, and it wasn't Night I was talking about. I was talking about Arkham Origins. I think that should have been in this package. I think that game's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, Arkham Origins.
yeah,
should have
Arkham
been
Origins
in.
is good, but
It's actually one of my favorite of the 3. I mean, I think Asylum is the best, but I think it's better than Arkham, the second one, whatever it was. I thought
Yeah,
the
I
story
think-
of
City.
Origins is really good.
I think Asylum is the best one. Night is the second best. Then Origins is the third.
Yep,
City
yep.
is the worst.
Totally agree. Yeah, City kind of lost the plot for me a little bit.
And
by the end
it's so hard to go back to City too, because
Yep.
Origins and then Night both did the thing where you could do multiple like zipline boosts to glide
Yep.
around forever.
Yep,
So it's impossible to go back to City at this point.
yep, and it just overstays its fucking welcome. I played
Yeah.
it not terribly long ago because I played around the time leading up for Night, and it overstays its fucking welcome.
I think this gets cut though. I mean, just because like lazy HD collection ports is just nothing new.
Yeah.
It's more surprising when they do them well. Like
Yeah, honorable mention that fucking Ezio collection for the Assassin's Creed stuff, which
Yeah.
has the same problem, like where it looks worse than the original in a lot of spots, and they fucked up the animation. Like, yeah. Okay, now I think we're getting into it here. Street Fighter V. First off, when this game came out, it was completely broken for like a month. Like you couldn't fucking play online consistently, and that's all there was to do in this game. Because that's all there fucking was. There was no story mode. There was no versus CPU mode. There was no like arcade mode. Like you could not fight the CPU in this game.
were these
there's no
free,
practice
were
mode.
these free updates, or did you have to pay for them?
Yes, these updates were free as they came along. It also didn't have the store in it. Because like you collected this stuff called fight money, which is their in-game currency, and you were supposed to be able to like, oh, you can pay for our season pass, or you can like unlock individual characters using fight money that you earn by fighting and doing the other stuff. The challenge mode wasn't in this when it launched either. So eventually they got all this stuff put in. They got their first season pass done. They've announced their second one. It's all finally there. But the other problem I think this game has is it's also kind of a shitty game. Like, because I finally bought it over this last Steam sale after, like, hearing that, okay, it's basically fixed now. I was like, all right. And remember how Street Fighter 4 was basically them going like, hey, you guys remember Street Fighter 2? Here's a new one of those. This one is them going, hey, remember Street Fighter 3? Here's a new one of those. And I'm like, but Street Fighter 3 sucked and killed the franchise for like 10 years. What are you doing?
4 was widely regarded as good, right?
Didn't
4 is great.
because didn't Street Fighter 3 come out, and then they also did Street Fighter the movie, and they just oversaturated? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Street Fighter the movie was came out around the same time as the Street Fighter Alpha games, which were
Okay.
Just a quick aside here, back to the Switch. They're getting Street Fighter 2 of all games. Why?
Well, of course they are.
Why not?
It's
like,
going to be the
4?
SNES version. Like,
Oh, okay.
Street Fighter 2 is the one you want. Like, even with 4, 2 is the one you want, and
Yeah.
it'll have online put in. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, but yeah, like, this game shipped so fucking rough, and it has never fucking, yeah, like,
People couldn't.
it's bad.
Yeah. I mean.
You couldn't
I-
play this game for the first month because it didn't fucking work.
Yeah. Like.
This is this game's fucking Arkham Knight. Like, that one last year.
Oh, on PC. Good God.
Yeah.
Did that
Yeah.
game ever get? Can you buy that game on Steam now?
Yes, it's
Okay.
back, yes.
Well, Arkham Knight is.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And they've kind of fixed it. Like, it's still not great. Like, they fixed the, like, I had bought that game and it worked it worked fine for me until they put out the patch. It was like, we fixed it, and if it doesn't fix it for you, you can just get a refund. And that patch that was supposed to fix it broke it for me. And then I bought it on a sale for like $10. I got it back, and it works fine now. Like, they fixed what their patch broke since then. But yeah, I think Street Fighter V has to be on this list. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't play this game,
yeah.
but the way I hear people talk about it, it sounds like a
I played
complete
it.
cluster.
I played it.
yeah,
It's,
Yeah.
The launch version was a demo.
I mean,
yeah.
if
And
there-
Abby, you might disagree with me on this one, but like, Abby was gone for a little bit, by the way. I don't think it's a very good game compared to Street Fighter 4.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not a fighting game connoisseur, and I've not played a ton of them. And I would probably agree with you if I played more 4. I like some of the animations and character designs better in 5, but that's not gameplay.
I don't like any of the new characters. Like, that fucking guy who's just like, I like the internet. It's like, oh, fuck you. Like, like Crimson
Which guy is
Viper.
that?
Crimson
Which guy is
Viper.
that?
There's a new character. Rashid.
He doesn't say I like the internet.
Oh, yes, he does. If you played the story mode in that game, that's his entire character.
Oh,
is he
right.
loves the
The
internet.
story mode is so
Yeah.
bad. Oh my goodness, it's so bad. But
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I've always
shit.
see. To me, I have not played story mode of Street Fighter in a long time, but to me, they feel just as campy and ridiculous as the other story modes. So I was
Well, the
just
other
expecting
modes, like,
that.
they were so thin that, like, you didn't really get a sense of, like, anything like that. The characters didn't have traits.
There's a new female character in this one who I really liked, and she wasn't playable to begin with, but she's introduced in story mode, and I don't remember
Yuri?
her name. What?
Yuri?
I know.
Is it one they added for DLC?
Maybe. It might have been. I don't remember her name. I just remember there was one who didn't just have huge boobs and huge legs everywhere, but I liked her. She was small.
Ibuki?
Maybe.
Like the ninja chick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ibuki.
I like her. I like her.
Yeah, the character designs, like, I hate all the redesigns they did. Like, Ken looks terrible. Nash looks like an idiot. I don't like Nikali. He's one of the new guys. Maybe he was from 3. Armika's okay, in that she's completely ridiculous. I
Mhm.
hate the new look for Guile. Like, the only characters who I like how they look are either the ones they kept exactly the same, like Ryu, Chun-Li, or Vega, or like Dalzim, who's like old man Dalzim. And then
Eh.
Balrog looks okay. Yeah, I just don't like the way the game plays. Like, there's one too many meters in it that you have to keep track of. I don't like the parry system. But yeah, all that aside, even like it launching fucking
No, it's terrible.
as a demo and then the servers being broken for a month, it's unforgivable.
Yep.
Something else that's unforgivable is, but I think compared to some of the other stuff on this list, doesn't make it. Suicide Squad.
You don't think this is like top 3?
Unforgivable.
Suicide Squad was supposed to be the movie that like it was never going to be good because it didn't look good, but it looked trashy and fun. And
yeah, there's a universe that exists somewhere where this dude had another month for this script, and it's still not a good movie, but it's watchable.
I didn't think it was watchable, and I've seen.
Yeah, like I said, the version now isn't, but there is a universe where that exists.
Okay, I was gonna say I turned this movie off 15 minutes in. I thought it was unwatchable.
Yeah, it's real fucking bad, but like it's not every like there are some good casting decisions in it. Jai Courtney is all right in it. Margot Robbie was a good Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Jai Courtney like was the one thing like when I was hearing about how bad it actually was, I was like, well, I hope Jai Courtney is good in it because I've placed too much faith in his role, and he was real fun. And even though he like at one point leaves the group and then comes back in explicitly with like no reason for it, I laughed at that because it was just funny, even though it was part of the film's poor structure and editing problem. Because this movie is supposed to be bad in a good way. It's bad in a bad way because
maybe this does make the list.
It should have been fun. It should have been fun.
It should have been fun. Like,
and it's not.
It should have been a slam dunk, but it's trying to be too fucking cool.
And
the comics it's based on. Yeah, here's the thing. Like the comics it's based on are very dark. They are not like fun comics. It's like bad guys being bad guys. Nobody's really all that likable, and like that's where the entertainment comes in. Is like watching these people stab each other in the back. It seems like the movie was originally trying to go for that kind of tone, but then fucking Deadpool came out. That first trailer, like that had Bohemian Rhapsody, came out and got like the reactions like, "Oh, it's a funny movie," and they made like a hard right turn in the edit and tried to make it something that it wasn't.
And they did reshoots.
I heard there was 2 cuts they were shown to test audiences, and apparently people reacted better to the stupid one.
Yeah.
Well, what it was.
Go figure.
It's a movie that's trying to serve. It's trying to serve 2 masters, and therefore doesn't serve either.
Yeah, what we heard was that, like the guy who cut, the people who cut the first trailer that people liked, that wasn't apparently representative of the movie. They had him do a cut of the movie, and then they had the regular cut of the movie, and they screened both, and then they got reactions from both, and they kind of mashed those 2 up together. There's a point where they play like 2 or 3 needle drops in a row while they're all suiting up and like learning what the mission is.
Opening 15 minutes of this movie.
Totally
Why the fuck is that? Why is that Eminem song in this movie? Why are
there 100 songs in the
What
movie?
Eminem song is it?
The fucking hit from his 3rd album.
It's like exactly what you would parody.
Without Me.
Without
Me.
The problem with the movie is like every scene is a new song, but it doesn't fit. Like
If
I get
I
Creedence
had-
Clearwater, "Fortunate Son," of course, because I like that song, so I played it in my movie.
If I had if I was making a movie that was like a parody of what I thought a movie would look like if it was edited like a movie trailer, but a feature-length movie, this has those elements in there because it's like, wait a minute, why is one song ending and all of a sudden another song and then all of a sudden another song, and it doesn't work. And I'm sure you can do it in a way that works. Like we're gonna see Edgar Wright's Baby Driver comes out, I think, this year, and that is a movie where the concept is it's this guy who drives. He's like a getaway driver or something, and he listens to music, and the action's going to be synced up to his music. That's probably going to be like nonstop, tons of music and all sorts of needle drops and stuff. But I'm sure that will work. Whereas Suicide Squad is just like, here, put it in because like like I would assume a trailer editing house tasked with editing a movie would be able to edit a movie, but it's like you wouldn't. The joke is you expect them to edit the movie like a trailer, and that is what the reality was.
The songs have to
And
fit
it's-
like perfectly. Like I think
Yeah, and they do not.
I think like Zack Snyder does a good job with it. Like he puts
Mhm.
like music in that he's like it's almost like you can think like I've always wanted to put a scene to this song, but he makes it work.
Yeah,
Like,
and he writes the scene around the song.
exactly.
Right, like this, they
Like
tried
99,
so hard.
99 balloons in fucking Watchmen. Like,
Yeah.
that is the perfect, weird, awkward, these two characters meeting song. Like,
And
on paper, that wouldn't work, but it works in the movie with how it's shot. And everything.
Mhm.
Sound of Silence and
Yep.
The opening
I'm
credits
your
scene is
boogeyman.
incredible.
Yeah, I'm your
Barrett
boogeyman.
Jameson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it doesn't
Murdering
work.
murdering
Also,
people
yeah,
with
I think-
shotgun to that song. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that with how much we talked about this movie when it first came out, that has bought itself a spot on the list.
Gleam
Yeah,
Because
we
we talked about
Tuesday.
it for hours and hours
Well, and then we even show
hours.
that people who are familiar with the source material and people who aren't familiar with it, my dad,
Yeah, we had
both
your
didn't
dad
like
on to talk about this.
Yeah, and like even here we haven't talked about the characters or their tone or like. the
Yeah,
weird
because
shit
you can
yet.
go back. It sucks. This movie sucks. It's on the list. Here's
It
what I
sucks.
think this
It's
list
got an
is,
extended edition too. Like it.
which
like,
also sucks.
2 out of 3 DCEU movies have extended editions not because they're fun, but to not for fun, but to like try and correct the movie.
It doesn't do that. This movie doesn't try and correct it
and
though.
they
It just
said
adds
there's
like
gonna be no extended edition.
yeah,
All of a
it adds
sudden.
like 3 or 4 superfluous extra scenes that don't do anything to fix anything. Like
Yeah.
you get a little bit more with the Joker in them, but it doesn't change the nature of their
I feel like-
relationship.
I bet
like
you some people got ripped off on that one because they figured that the extended or director's cut or whatever was going to be
Yeah.
that more serious
was-
one.
mhm.
They
There's
buy
a
it. And it's just some deleted scenes added in.
There's a whole Reddit post of a guy threatening to sue because, like, or
Yeah.
he's like, "Do I
We-
have a case?" Because
talked
they didn't
about
show
that
as
on
much
here.
Joker
Yeah.
as we thought.
Yeah, all right, here's what I think this list is. I think Pokemon Go is bad, but I don't think it's as bad as these 3. We haven't even talked about the third one yet. But I think the list is Street Fighter V, Suicide Squad, and the third one we haven't talked about, which is No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, obviously,
Oh, boy.
the thing about No Man's
Which
Sky,
let's talk about No Man's Sky right now.
I think that it absolutely needs to be on this list. But I think we discussed this earlier that it's not as much of a what the fuck happened as why the fuck did everybody think this wasn't going to happen? Because I knew that this game was going to be bad, or at least I thought it was going to be bad, just from like everybody is so hyped about it, and there was no reason for them to be as hyped as they were. And
Well,
get
Here's
their
the thing,
hopes
like
up.
I also wasn't super hyped, but I thought it would at the very least be like a decent one of those games. Like I thought it would be similar to something like your Minecrafts, your Ark Survivals, stuff like that. Like it would be a good survival game. It
Right,
wasn't
and-
even that.
It's more the PR stuff around it too, or the lack of PR. They've done nothing.
Yeah, like that
John
dude,
Murray
like,
lying to everybody.
yeah, like that dude is like what happens if you fucking injected Peter Molyneux with speed. Like
Yeah.
he's fucking that type of like unfulfillable promises taken to the fucking 100th fucking
Oh,
level.
that,
Like it's
that guy, holy crap! That Peter Molyneux, that stuff is even
But
funnier.
his interviews too. I mean, people should have seen this coming because every time they asked him a question, he kind of just like shyly answered it. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, you can do that." But it's like, what do you mean? Like, why don't you just say yes? You can. Like, it's gonna be awesome. You can do this. Of course, you can meet up with your friends and stuff. But just the way he said things, it's almost like he was like, "Oh shit, this is like." They really are expecting a lot, and the expectations are so high. And what do? I just won't do anything. I just won't say anything. That's what his strategy was. And when like you hear the story about how like
Did
Sony
his
actually,
Twitter get hacked?
supposedly,
Someone hacked Twitter and
yeah,
I-
I don't know if I buy that.
I
or
suspect
not.
that he was drunk as hell, and he
Yeah.
posted like, "No Man's Sky was a mistake," and then somebody called him,
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck, dude?" And they made him take
Yeah.
it down. And he's like, "We got hacked." No, it wasn't a hack. Yeah, it was a hack. No, but then the other thing about it is that supposedly Sony basically said like, "Do you guys want us to help you like manage the PR for this, or just consult with this?" And like, "Ah, no, we don't need one." Like that's insane.
Yeah, this whole thing is a fucking mess. Like, it's maybe my biggest disappointment as far as games go
And even the
ever.
fixes
Like,
they're doing, I just heard they're going to add possibly a Land Rover, which is cool. But come on, that's too little, too late.
the thing is, like, yeah, it doesn't matter because the gameplay loop is bad.
Add
Yeah.
a fun game to play.
Yeah, add the game in or a loop that's at least fun. Like,
It's like a
let's put it in those.
concept.
Okay, in this game, you're doing the same, like, 3 things. You are mining for ore, to craft stuff, to go to different planets, to mine for ore. Like, that's fine. That's what all fucking survival games are based on. Most games, it's a thing I always remember from, like, an interview with, like, the Halo guys. It's like, your game only needs 10 minutes of fun, and then you can loop that and get a lot of time out of it. Like, Doom, for instance, which will be one of our games of the year, I'm sure. Like, it'll be top 3. We'll get to that next week. But, like, that game has, like, it's a very simple loop. It's you fucking shoot demons, you fucking glory kill them to get health back, you chainsaw them for ammo, rinse and repeat in these arena combat sections, and it sustains itself for like 15 hours. Like, it never gets boring, it never gets bad. I was done with the fucking gameplay loop in No Man's Sky after like the second planet, after about an hour and a half. And I'm a guy who has put like a dozen hours or more into Minecraft. So like I like these types of games, not as much as some people do, but I enjoy them. I could not find any fucking fun in this game. Like I even went through and like I used cheat engines. Like what if I just give myself a bunch of stuff? It's like that also didn't make it fun because like it took out all there is to do. And like you go to fucking planets and it's like one guy standing in a fucking behind a counter or like the same logic puzzle to like get a fucking item. It's terrible. This game is terrible.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
so little to do that it's more like a tech demo of like, here's what the world of the game will look like. Once you put a game into it, it'll be fun
Yeah.
to play.
The same thing. Like they have this giant expansive world. It's remember that game Fuel? It was like a big open world racing game on the 360 that Microsoft put out. It's like this post-apocalyptic racer that like the world in that game is really fucking detailed and cool. Just like the tech to make all the fucking different planets and stuff in this is pretty fucking cool. Like it's a pretty good achievement. But the thing that I wondered in both of those is like that I went in both of those like, man, this is pretty cool tech, a pretty cool world. I wish someone would put a game into it.
You know, I don't even think the tech is that impressive.
I even like
because
I
you
like
can't-
the user interface even.
It's
Yeah, the UI is bad.
Like I would even the UI
Did you say you do
could
like
be-
it?
No, it's bad.
I was gonna say I hate it.
I didn't mind it, but the fact that the rest of the game sucks makes you really hate it. Yeah.
It ceases to be as impressive when you know it's not like loading all these planets at the same time. Like where there is no multiplayer and stuff, it's not as impressive to me because it's just loading one planet at a time. Because you have to do a load screen to get out of orbit, don't you?
No, it's just you go down over.
Yeah, I don't know. But there's
As far as I could tell, anyway.
there is some stuff like that where it's not like completely seamless, where they made you think it was, I believe.
Yeah, one of the big things is when you went to different planets, like different systems, I should say. Like when he showed that, like there's literally a video of him going, people think this is a load screen when you go to different solar systems. It's not a load screen. Like you're actually traveling there in real
It
time.
is.
No, it's a fucking load screen. That's
It
all
is.
that is. Like,
Oh, and the big lie about you'll get to see other people
yeah.
because I
Which
think
they
he
would-
really I think
They
he
never
really
said
thought
flat out. They were just like, "Oh, you'll see." It was like, it was implied with never confirming it.
They said it would be like the chances are super slim, which is
Yeah.
a great fucking way to say, which
the
is a great
chances
fucking
are
way to
yeah
lie.
means it could work.
Yeah, so
So-
it's like if nobody does, then it's like, well, maybe I'm just not lucky.
I think
enough.
they
It just
didn't. I
happen.
think they weren't counting on people to figure
On
it out
Reddit,
that quick.
gaming the system and
Here's
like
the thing. Here's the
coordinating
thing.
to go to a
Why
city.
did they not look at what everybody was saying and assuming about this game and not be like, "Whoa, guys, actually this beforehand or something"?
Because
Why did they
they're
let them
dumb.
believe all
So
that?
I
I'm
think
sure
what
that
happened.
was.
I think what happened here was, they had a game and they had a target date and they were locked in. And when Chalmers started to say these things, it was too late. And
Yeah,
when
he either
people
ran
started to
his
say,
mouth.
yeah, it was
either-
too late to do anything. So they just kind of pushed forward and they're like, well, let's see what fucking happens.
He either ran
Whoops.
his mouth, or they had like a crossroads where they could like sort of tell the truth or lie, and they kind of lied more. They went down that road. I just want to say, like, an open letter to game developers, game publishers, game companies. It's okay to, like, wait until a game is ready to put it out. Like, you can, like,
Yeah.
Street Fighter and, like,
Remember how
the
video
Arkham
games
thing.
used to be released as complete whole things?
No, because video games were always broken. You're remembering
to
with those
that
classes.
argument, like I get what you're saying, but games are so much bigger and more expensive to make nowadays that
Right,
they
but,
have
like,
to
you're
start
so locked
getting
into
excitement.
You're so locked into that date. I mean, even movies are like this too, because like Suicide Squad was like written in 6 weeks because of like merchandising things or whatever. So like, yeah, on one hand you need a deadline, but just especially like it seems like it happens more with games than movies, partly because movies have been around for 100 years, but like so many games are released when it's like, man, if they had just spent like a couple more months on this would have been better. Or like so many patches or DLC things that are meant to sort of fix things that initially, not just initial bugs, but like actual problems that.
Here's the thing: the problem with this isn't that it came out incomplete, or even with Street Fighter V coming out incomplete. If both of these games had launched as like, hey, early access, like with that fucking title, and costs like $20, like I would have been okay with that, because it basically like when you go into an early access thing, it's basically an agreement with the developer that you're going to pay a lower price point to play a feature incomplete game and basically be giving them free beta testing.
Well,
And,
yeah,
like,
and I understand
so,
that
like,
for smaller developers too, because they need to keep the game being funded while they make it, because they
Yeah.
are little developers. But for AAA things like Street Fighter, that's stupid.
See, I even would have been okay with that, because like Capcom, like, let's not pretend that Capcom of today is the Capcom of the past. I think they're about one bad year from going the same way as Konami at this point.
There's a lot
Like, because the only
riding
reason
on-
Street Fighter,
lot
Street
riding
Fighter
on Resident
5,
7.
yeah, the only reason Street Fighter V even got made is because Sony fucking gave them money for the exclusivity rights. Like, that's the only reason it got made, which is fucking crazy, but it's true. Like, so like, I think if they were like, okay, Street Fighter V, like this version is going to be $20. It's only the online stuff. Here's the $20 version for just multiplayer, no story stuff, and then later you can pay $40 if you even want to pay $40 to get the single player experience. Like, I'm like, all right, fine. If it had fucking worked at launch, which it didn't, but
People just don't
like-
want to put out games that are $20 or like $30. Like they gotta
Yeah.
be 60, man. Because part of it I think is there's like a status to it. If it is a $60 game, then it sounds like it has a whole lot of content.
Oh,
Whereas,
there's a business psychology thing going on there too. I mean, that's a real
Yeah.
thing. Perceived
but
value.
also like
You raise
six-
price on something, it makes people think it's actually worth more.
yeah, but also like $60 is a fucking lot for a game. Like if I'm gonna buy them, like movies are generally like at most $30 for like the Blu-ray and DVD and digital
Yeah.
download that nobody.
at this point, it's like 30 for like the 4K version. Blu-rays are just 20. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like some Blu-rays when they come out anyway, because the price drops eventually, but it's
that's
usually, like,
changed. That's
$26,
changed
whatever.
recently. They're down to
But
like
yeah.
20. Like, it's been a month since I've seen one come out at 20.
Like Studio Ghibli movies and big Disney movies are usually more like 25 or 30, but
And it depends on like bonus features and stuff. But yeah, the point is like those are not like a movie is not $60. Granted, it's a lot less. I mean, putting the disc in and enjoying the full content of the movie is not as long as a video game. Like you could play Doom for like until you die. Like you could just like keep playing it until you just haven't eaten food or slept for enough days that you just die. But like that doesn't mean that it should be $60 necessarily. Like that's like super, like it's a luxury item, but it also is at the point where like pretty much everybody owns video games. It's weird. I'm always weary of like the $60 price point, because like if you buy 2 games, then you're spending $120.
I rarely ever buy games for full price anyway. I wait for Steam sales or just like the couple of other sales throughout the year, because I'm too nervous to buy games that are launched these days. I assume there's going to be something wrong, or I'm too scared to spend that much and then only kind of like it. So I wait. I know a lot of other people are doing that these days too.
I mean, I still have my eye on a PS4 because of Grand Theft Auto 5, but it's been like 6 years since that came out. Or, I'm exaggerating, but like I don't buy that many video games either. And even if I do, like I don't have the time to play them. So
Oh, I wish
it
I had
is.
more time.
Well,
It's
this
quite
is
a
one
lot of
those-
money.
This is, I think, for the most part, there's enough information out there that you can safely buy games on launch if you do your research.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I hovered
Although
on
that's going to
buying
be
some-
changing with shit like Bethesda games,
Yeah.
like no longer sending out review copies, except to YouTubers who they're paying. Like,
Yep.
I think for the most part, the reviews are going to come out, and don't just go off one review. If people are saying it's good, like go with people you trust, and if they say it's good and stuff, I would go with it. If they say the game is a buggy mess and to wait, then wait. But I think for the most part, games are pretty complete when they come out. For the most part. Even games like Final Fantasy 15, at least you could beat the game. They're adding this stupid bullshit in later for the
yeah,
chapter 13.
yeah, they're fixing Chapter 13 and adding a cohesive story. But
Which, yeah, I mean, that's a what the fuck happened too. I agree.
Yeah, but
I haven't. I still
we
haven't
know
started.
exactly what happened with that, though, which is they needed to ship that fucking game because it'd been in development for 10 years.
I still haven't
one more-
fired it up yet. I've been waiting. I'm waiting to play it until
Me
whatever
too.
is gonna make it better hits. But it's
Me
sitting.
too.
If I was them, I'd delete Chapter 13 altogether and put something else in there because you're right.
Take Chapter
it's
13,
bad.
yeah, make Chapter 13 last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
There's enough of a new, like, a stealth section in that part was like, oh, okay, this is fine for 15 minutes. Then get rid of the rest of it. Like,
Quick
just
shout out
holy
to Chapter
shit.
13 is what the fuck happened. On the
Yeah, that
first.
was just, if we had worst segment of a game award, that would win it. Because, like, that's the least fun I've had with any game since, like, Duke Nukem Forever. Like, it's shit. But, all right, I think we have our list here. I think this is pretty obvious. I think our runners-up are Street Fighter V, Suicide Squad, No Man's Sky, and the obvious winner is the 2016 presidential election.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
fine with that.
All
Good.
right, there's our list. That's our list for that. And just to recap for best trailer, we had runners-up Logan, Uncharted 4, Thief's End, and Death Stranding. And that's going to do it for this week. Next week is going to be the big one with best TV series, best game, and best movie.
Oh boy.
So be ready for a long one for that. That's going to take
Buckle
us
up.
3 hours, I guess.
Yeah,
It's not longer.
let's watch some. I'm gonna have to watch a bunch of TV shows over the weekend.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can't even talk unless you've seen every single one.
All the way through.
I'm gonna rewatch. Or what? I got like a handful of movies to watch or rewatch, and I've got like 5 TV shows to watch. Like 2, I want to. 2, like I've seen some half of Preacher. I'm gonna see all of Atlanta and try to see all of the OJ show, and then I'll probably check out a bit of Goliath somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to try and watch a little bit of Goliath and High Maintenance. Let's do this part off the air so we don't giving away our nomination load.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, so we will see you guys next week. That's going to do it for us.
All right.
And I've stopped recording.
Okay. Which was the second runner-up? No Man's Sky.